What's going on, everybody? Coach Woodson here from Hampton University. Quick coaching tip, development tip for those of you working with young players. Simple tip, but something that can be very effective in helping them to navigate their mechanics and to get it done properly. We talk about going to the wall all the time, but we don't often talk about the mechanics of what we're doing on the wall. We don't necessarily talk about the proper mechanics of even holding a stick. So when we're working with younger players, one of the things that's most important to do is make sure that they're handling the stick properly so that they're not going to the wall to reinforce bad habits or to develop bad habits right from the start. When it comes to holding the stick, one of the things that I always talk about is matching the butt end up to your elbow and then reaching out. When you reach out, you're going to shake hands with it. You're going to grip it almost as if you're shaking hands, and that should be the grip that you're using. The reason for that is twofold. One, it puts your hand in about the right place in terms of the length of the stick, right? But then two, it also creates this grip that allows your wrist to open up, right? And allows you to flex your wrist and use your wrist. So when your son or daughter is going to the wall, if you're a parent or if you're a coach working with young ones, always have them reach out, hold the stick out as far as they can, bring this bottom hand to the elbow, reach out, shake hands. Not gripping it super tight like this, knuckles wrapped around. You'll notice you can't really straighten the arm out if you do it that way, right? We're not trying to squeeze the heck out of somebody's hand, but we are trying to give a nice firm grip. Reach out, shake hands with it, okay? There it is. Then that allows us to keep our hands, or keep the stick in our fingertips and use our wrist. If they're a little smaller or a little younger and they want to choke up, that's perfectly fine. You can start up here, and then you can slide a stick up a little bit, right? But that grip stays the same. Here's something you should think about. We don't need to spend an hour on the wall every day. We don't need to go out there for 30, 45 minutes every single day. But if we can just put in 10 minutes a day on the wall, we're going to get significantly better, and here's why. 10 minutes a day on the wall for a week, 70 minutes, is about a season's worth of touches if you're really working hard. So let's just put that in basic numbers. If you go out to practice and you touch ball, you throw and catch ball 50 times, right? You do that for a week. Let's say you take the weekends off, right? And you got 5 days. Now we're at 250 touches. 250 touches times 4 means we're at 1,000 touches a month. 3 months in the season, that's 3,000 touches. So if we're getting 3,000 touches in a season, we can do that in 70 minutes, right? And I'm quite sure you can get significantly more than that if you're really working hard on the wall. So 3,000 touches, a season's worth of touches, is a lot of development if you're doing things the right way, which comes back to the way we grip the stick and the way we approach our wall. When we go to the wall, there's any number of different things that we could be doing to work on our development. Well, the wall is our best friend because it's going to work as hard as we work. If we throw soft passes, it's going to throw soft passes back to us. If we throw hard passes, it's going to throw hard passes back. For this particular video, I just want to focus on 3 things, and they have to do with spacing. One, we're working up close and tight to the wall. Next one, we're working from about 7 to 10 yards, and then we're coming back to about 5 yards. Okay, up close, we're working on our wrist activation. We're working on one hand. 7 to 10 yards, we're working at throwing really good, crisp, hard passes on a line, on a rope, and catching them that way as well. Then when we get to 5, it's the same idea, but it's going to come right back off the wall. 7 to 10, we're going to get it off of a bounce. 5 yards, coming right back at us. There are a few things that I hope you noticed during that. One, with the exception of the one hand piece, at no point was I just standing here completely neutral, toes pointed toward the wall. That was about activating my wrist. That wasn't about the rest of my body. When I was doing the one hand, notice my elbow stayed up, right? So even as I'm catching, I'm throwing it, everything is staying up. I'm not allowing my elbow to sink in here and do this. I'm not pushing it. Okay, we're gonna keep it up so that we keep that elbow extended and we activate the wrist. All the action, all the movement, all the work is being done with that wrist. 2, Everything else was a weight shift from front to back. Even though it's a static wall work drill, we're still shifting our weight. We're not just standing still. Another thing is that we want to get the ball in and out of our stick as quickly as we can. One cradle, maybe a half a cradle. Sometimes you can choke up on your stick and that makes it a little bit easier, and that's particularly the case for younger players or smaller players who are maybe less advanced, but also who are having trouble handling a full-size stick. When I was throwing it with my right hand, everything was all the way down here. When I threw it with my left hand, I choked up a little bit. It's not that much, but it's enough to shorten the stick and make it a little bit easier. And I just kind of do that instinctively now, but that's something that you can kind of teach your younger players, to choke up a bit, shorten the stick, make everything a little bit easier, and then as they get more and more comfortable, then they can slide down.